Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. But today's episode, we are going to preview all the divisional round games. We're going to talk about some coach drama, NFL news, all that good stuff. The Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen rematch. But before we get all over that, let's huddle up with my dudes. Phil's idea to start throwing the word huddle up around. Pre-show of huddle. Describe what we're talking about a little bit. Make our play. I think it was catchy, Phil.
I don't like the name huddle. I also don't like the gridiron conversation. Trent pitched me 3 ideas that I just absolutely did not like. Then I said, hey, none of those are good. Here's an idea for what it should be. And then he said, oh, I like that. And then he went with his idea. So that's how we have the huddle, which for me is just, it sounds like, I don't know. It's just such a lame deal. Don't call it the huddle. I think we should put it out to vote. What should we call the intro? It's going to be not the huddle. I guarantee our fans will say that because they know how much I hate it. But the huddle is by far one of the worst names to title a segment where we just chit chat. And it's just, Jordan, come on. I mean, you're a straight shooter. Talk to me here, man.
I think it's cheesy and weird.
Seth, do you agree to that?
That's like Trent's personality, though.
Yes. Yeah.
True.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So I think it matches the pod pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just something that goes on the YouTube page, guys. It's not that big of a deal. You want me to just put intro up there? Is that better?
No, don't change it now. See, that's the thing we talked about being spineless. You put something in there, double down on it. Let's see it. Let's keep it in there for a little bit.
Right.
Let's let what the fans say.
Break.
Yeah. The real problem is
Phil really wants to be the center and Trent wants to be the quarterback. Let's just say that.
Oh my. the thing that we Trent's down bad.
I'm down bad.
Trent is down bad. I thought it couldn't get any worse for the poor guy. And then the Cowboys do something even crazier and go ahead and redeem themselves today. And Trent is he was fielding text messages. I said in one group message that I'm in with Trent, hurt people. If he says anything hurtful to me tonight, I'm going to forgive him and show him a lot of grace as he needed the day that the Cowboys lost. So it's just like, Trent, talk to us. I know, you were in sackcloth and ashes for a couple of days and just, reeling from that loss.
Anti-fast.
That's such a good term for that. I've never heard that.
Seth, you are you rarely say something funny, but when you do, it is absolutely fantastic.
I just thought I was trying to go along with the sackcloth,
the biblical thing.
But Trent was doing the exact opposite,
Seth, I'm surprised you're talking that much. Seth's been blowing up our text message. He's all mad that California is not banning youth tackle football. So I'm glad he actually showed up. It's like Seth's like, I can't believe this is a dangerous sport for guys. So so here we are. But
that's not true.
It's been a rough week. My Cowboys lost. I thought for sure McCarthy was fired. What, Phil?
For your waistline.
Everywhere. It's been bad all around. The only positive thing that happened this week is Fantasy Dad got me a shirt that says "Flack around and find out." But Joe,
and what do we find out? What do we find out?
Trent sucks.
He's back.
He's back.
He's going back to the couch with his kids.
Poor
He's going to be playing the USFL this offseason, apparently.
I don't know. He had a nice little bonus for that playoff run, even though it only lasted one game. But yeah, I'm torn about this. I'm so done with McCarthy. I was firing off texts about how much I don't like Dak Prescott. Putting stuff on Twitter where's Dak going to play next year? But he's not clutch. But he did lead the NFL in touchdown passes. No Cowboys quarterback's ever done that before. And I think he's
Trent,
the next to get the contract extension.
It's okay. He had 400 yards passing in the playoff game when they lost. It's okay.
and all my sleeper plays actually came through because of that. But No, it was one of those things though, Jordan, where I felt like the whole team didn't show up. Like that's why I thought McCarthy should go, even though he's had 3 straight 12-5 seasons. Like, but it's just I don't know.
want to say like the beginning of the game looked weird after CD and Dak didn't connect on like 6 like 6 attempts. Like he had 6 attempts and had like 2 catches, and it was like it was just a bad vibe from like the first 10 minutes of the game, and you're just like, what is going on? And like the game was like within 1 touchdown still. I didn't understand.
Very weird game. It wasn't weird. Dallas just did not absolutely show up at all on any aspects of the game other than Micah Parsons' holding call. I think the whole thing was just a mess.
Yeah.
Cowboys fans are crazy though. Like I was talking to a Cowboys fan at work and he's saying like, no, they need to trade Dak. They need to trade CD. They need to trade Parsons and just try to get that next quarterback. If it's not Dak, who do the Cowboys play at quarterback? Like, who are your guys' ideas?
There's not very many other QBs in the league, I will say.
Like,
and I don't
if
think
you're going to trade Dak, if you're going to trade Dak, you trade CD to the Bears for the first overall pick and you just rebuild.
Yeah. And I don't know, like Cowboys fans act like they're okay with that. I don't know if they're really okay with that.
They're not.
You know what I mean?
You
like,
don't want to get rid of CD. No way.
I was talking to a guy at work and he's like, no. Like, we just have to be terrible, get that good quarterback and just ride it out. Like, till we find that franchise quarterback that's going to win Super Bowls.
Or you trade like Dak to who has the second pick?
Carolina? No,
it's Carolina doesn't have a pick at all. Like,
no, it's darn it.
I thought they could trade maybe Dak and Parsons for that pick to the Bears for, whatever quarterback they want. I think CD's the only guy I don't want to trade.
Washington Commanders have the second pick.
Or the Patriots trade Dak to the Commanders or the Patriots.
Yeah, that's the only thing, and I don't know if they want to do that.
Dak going to the Commanders could be kind of sketchy for the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, what I don't want to deal with, though, is I don't want to deal with. Hey, when I was a kid, it was terrible from like 03 to it was like 99 to like 03. It was
Tony
like
Romo.
Carter. No, Tony Romo was way better than all those guys.
No, I'm saying until you got Tony Romo.
Oh, yeah. It was like Quincy Carter, Tony Banks.
Was it Alakai Williams? Was there an Alakai? Was he on the Cowboys? He played for the Cowboys?
I don't know. Maybe. Like it was absolutely rough. And it was like 5-11. It's like, I don't want that. Like, I'd rather have my heart broken than like, yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. I hope we win 3 games this year. Like, I don't know. But I would have rather them got rid of McCarthy, went after Vrabel, went after Belichick. With that being said, I don't want to turn this into a Cowboys pod. Where do you guys think Belichick goes?
I was really thinking the Cowboys until I saw the news, but I have no idea.
He interviewed at Falcons and where else? Not Chargers, right? The only place that's confirmed is he interviewed at Falcons, right? Didn't he interview at Falcons? Am I wrong? Am I off here?
He definitely interviewed at Falcons.
Yeah.
Are we assuming that the Raiders hire Antonio Pierce?
I believe they are. I believe they are. They aren't. It seems like their search is kind of ended.
Okay.
So, in Harbaugh,
and to be honest, the Raiders don't have to interview anyone because Antonio Pierce is a minority, so they solved the Rooney Rule right there. Anyway, so
yeah, so they're done with that. Harbaugh, I think with the Chargers would be fun. I think that'd be good for Herbert.
Edelman was saying that he wants Belichick at the Eagles.
A lot of people are saying that. Is Sirianni, like, the Eagles absolutely self-destructed. Like,
yeah,
that is a collapse.
The most exciting thing that I saw is that people are saying that a great landing spot for Vrabel would be the Seahawks, and that would be just.
I'd take that.
I might buy 3 Seahawks jerseys in one night if that got announced.
3 Thomas Rawls jerseys, different sizes, so it'll continually fit him.
Small, medium, large.
He'll fit in no matter what, no matter life stage. Phil will be in all.
I think he
one
needs
of
to go
them.
large, XL, and double XL, not small, medium, large.
I am putting on some muscle mass over the last couple of weeks. I've gained quite a bit. I've hit my protein
muscle
powder.
weighs more than fat, Phil. Don't back down here. Like I see
Correct.
you. I saw you. Phil was at the gym. He had those pink rubber weights. He was going to town on those things.
Yeah, it's a,
Yeah, you're
it had a
using the
big
shake-
one on the side.
You were doing that. You were doing those. Weren't you doing like the dead? Like, what were you doing there, Trent?
I don't know because you don't go to the gym and I go to a totally different gym than you. But so if you're going to make a joke, you better figure out how lame is it that Phil has a Stanley? He got a Stanley for Christmas and he's like, looks like every other, 35-year-old mom out there. Like, come on, Phil, have some class.
Definitely
Be Team
fits
Yeti.
the part though with the van. So
I do. Listen. Here's the thing about me, is
And he
that
stays at home all day. Stay at home all day.
I work from home.
and he
Yeah.
runs in those short shorts.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Here's
true.
the thing. If you're gonna mock me because of hydration, get a life. That's all I'm saying. Like, I am actively, tackling fuel,
Taking
baby.
care of
I'm getting
himself.
some hydration in. If you want to mock hydration, I don't know when that ever became a thing. You know what I'm saying? That's like mocking me for reading books. If you have a problem with the English language, like come on at me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna take it from you yahoos who are drinking. I don't know, Seth. What is that skull can that you drink that has the liquid death? Like, I'm sorry you have to make it cool to chug
This is
down.
just a glass of water.
Here's an idea. Drink a $5 can of water while I drink free filtered water in my Stanley. Same goes for you, Trent. I know you're just chuggling down those LaCroix like no one's business. I know you're
This is actually a Stanley. I was mostly making fun of you, but I think mine's cooler. It's a little more rugged.
that actually looks like you would light a candle in that thing is what that looks like.
This is a lunch pail type of Stanley right here. This is
there's a wick
Stanley
candle
right
in
here.
that.
No. Look at that.
It
You can
actually
put this
does
with
look. It does
put
like
chili
that
in
could
here
be in a
too.
scene that could be in the lunchroom scene from Rudy. I will say that. Like that looks like the.
It looks like
Do you know
some
what I'm
soup's
talking
supposed
about?
to go in
Yeah.
there, like a
The only
soup,
time
like
you
a
should
soup
talk
cup.
about Rudy is because he would have started over you in football. But other than that, we don't need to bring Rudy into this.
Hey Jordan, here's the thing about Jordan. He's staying out of my path. The guy understands hydration. He understands, furthering oneself, and I have to make
I
sure
just
I stay hydrated for my
Why
miles.
why filtered water? Why not just straight from the tap? Why has it got to be filtered?
I push my body to the limits. I want to make sure I'm putting in the best possible source of filtration. That's really it. There's nothing else outside of that. Anyhow, I drink a LaCroix every once in a while, but here's what I will say. And if I can dive into this right now, I think now is the best time since we're in the huddle, which is, again, this is the worst name possible. I get invited to a lot of Super Bowl parties. I'm sure you guys can understand that, right? Guy of my status, and I'm on a podcast.
Okay.
I'm on a podcast. I drink water out of a Stanley. Sought after, invitee of a Super Bowl party.
So your parents and grandparents invited you.
People send out wedding invitations where you have to RSVP. People send out Christmas cards where they just want you to be excited about their family and their photos. No one sends out, and people send out save the dates for their wedding, save the dates for their 1-year-old's birthday party. No one sends out save the dates for their Super Bowl parties. And I personally have a major beef with that. Like, where are we at this is one of the most important days of American history is the Super Bowl. Not history necessarily, but in a patriotic holiday, I would say, is the Super Bowl. Why are we not getting save the date sent out right now? We're essentially 3 weeks away from the Super Bowl happening. Can you guys agree with me that Trophy Smack should have some sort of stock imagery that you could throw on a save the date that you can send to all your buddies? Do you guys agree with that? Am I off? I was thinking through that today while I was on a run.
What I will say is, I usually do text messages. Sometimes I get on Canva and make little invites. They're digital. But hey, if you're a cardstock guy, my wife does Christmas cards. I'm all for that. But
Totally,
it's a good idea. I think
it's a good idea, right? This is this is your party.
Yeah. Then if you're creepy, father-in-law's buddy doesn't come. You're like, hey man, you got invited. It just got lost in the mail. So it's a win-win. It works.
It's really a win-win, and I think that you can really get people. You can get some buzz going about your party. Like, you show up to someone's house, you're like, "Hey, did you get that invite?" No, you didn't. You just elevated your status. You know what I'm saying? And so there is a part of me that thought about sending out invites to Trent's house for the Super Bowl and sending them out on his behalf, but I have not yet done that. So anyhow, that is the thing that I've been thinking through today. I think that's a game changer. I think that is a game changer. Trent, you've gone to multiple, gender reveal parties. You've gone to co-ed baby showers. Like I know you have done a save the date. Like what is better than a save the date to a Super Bowl party?
All right. Nothing is better. I've been to 2 gender reveals and I've never been to a baby shower, but I kind of put those in the same category. I have not been to a baby shower. I will hold my guns on, I will stick to my guns to that. But bringing this up, Trophy Smack, guys, the season dust has settled and the losers have been crowned. Now it's time to ramp up the smack talk. Win a chance to post your league punishment on a freeway in Los Angeles on a billboard. All you got to do is post your punishment on Instagram or X, formerly known as Twitter. Tag Trophy Smack, hashtag league loser. Whether your last place punishment was, I don't know, tattoo, shaved head, hot chip challenge, tag them with the hashtag league loser. You might win a chance to get your last place punishment on a billboard in Los Angeles. Hey, maybe you live in Michigan or Wyoming or something. It's still pretty cool to get your buddy on a billboard in Los Angeles. I think that's a lot of people seeing that every single day. But while you do that, go to www.trophysmack.com/dudes for 15% off your whole entire order. Now is the exact time, guys, to go get that trophy to take your league up to the next level, guys. So head over to TrophySmack/dudes. Really helps us out. Help yourself out too while you're at it, guys. I think it's time to break this huddle, though. We've been huddled up for a long time, Phil. Probably getting a little bit of delay of game. People maybe are thinking delay of game. Do you think it's delay of game, Phil? What are you thinking? Should we keep going?
I think the most realist person here who is going to drop it is either going to be Seth or Jordan. We are 17 minutes in this pod. What are you guys thinking? Like, should we move on? Is there some more chatter you want to talk about? Any cool restaurants that you've been to, Seth, recently? I know you're, a restaurateur on the side. Anything you guys want to add here before we move on? You don't want to give a shout out to the local business or anything like that, Seth? I know from time to time you'll treat yourself.
I'll say this. It's my brother's bachelor party on Saturday, so
okay.
We're doing some stuff. We're doing some paintball, some other stuff. It's gonna be pretty fun. We're eating at a local steakhouse in the town where we live. So shout out to Cheyenne's. I had them the first time. I will say I wasn't too happy the first time, but I went another time and I liked it. So we're gonna go back and buy my brother a tomahawk to eat. So it should be a fun time.
That's awesome. I love that. I think that's a great bachelor party. Where are you guys playing paintball in, like the foothills around here, or like just in someone's backyard?
There's like a giant course in Lemoore by the Naval Air Base, and it has like 4 different like arenas, so it's pretty cool.
That would be a fun event to do, just like a fantasy football dudes fans podcast paintball event. Everyone gets to
Trent has to run the gauntlet shirtless, and everyone shoots him.
Exactly.
Hey, here's the deal, guys. Seth's talking a lot of trash right now. I have done terrible things that can't be described to him with gel blasters. So I don't know why he thinks paintball would be any different whatsoever.
Oh, did you just waste him with some gel blasters?
Me and his nephews just go absolutely to Hamtown on Seth, and he like backs up. He starts covering his eyes like this, shooting. It's like, Seth, like seriously, don't like.
Well, Trent's out there in a full ski mask, like covering up every possible skin,
Yeah.
And I'm out there playing in shorts.
Seth and his buddy Houston, me and my cousin Wade, we just back those guys down, like just let them have it. Like, hey, Seth's a good guy. Don't want him in my foxhole. But hey, this was another idea Phil had. Phil wanted us.
I'd like to take up at least half the foxhole
at the same time. Here we go, Phil. Ready, break. Seth can say all the jokes he wants.
Guns, give him the guns.
I didn't hear him because I was talking. I don't know if other people did either, because he mumbles.
Oh man, I really hope that went through.
Yeah, it might not have went through.
Someone's gonna have to rewind 15 seconds and listen closely. Hopefully they heard.
Yeah, and hopefully have one of those stupid translators. Anyways, guys, let's get into some news and notes. Hey, guys,
one more thing we move on. Well, before we move on, David Montgomery was filling up his gas tank in and around the stadium, and some lady came up crying to him and just thanked him for the win. And that is news. That is Detroit. Everyone was singing "Lose Yourself" in the stadium, just going wild. While I don't agree with all of those lyrics, I could see how that would be pretty fun to kind of bounce to in the middle of a game there. And just the city of Detroit the state of Michigan is on an all-time high right now. Cloud nine. It's hard to root against Detroit in basically everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, Dan Campbell started it off, and now you just have the grit coming out. So just something that I wanted to mention there before we move on.
No, that's cool. Like a listener of the pod, Steve, said there were fireworks getting shot off outside his house after the Lions win. So like Detroit fans, they're going crazy. It's pretty cool. I'm happy for him. Is there any other news and notes you think we should kind of touch on here, Phil? You have any more feel-good stories? I don't know, like if there's anything trending there other than that. I think we kind of covered everything. Other than the worst thing that could happen to Michigan is Harbaugh maybe leaves. It's looking like he's probably going to leave.
He's going to leave.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a return to the NFL. Is what it's to be. Jason Kelce announced he's not retiring yet. You know, he said he couldn't make that decision yet. So I kind of thought that, you know, once the tush push got stopped, it was like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm retiring. Like the Bucs finally stopped it. I know they missed a face mask on that play, but it's like, what are you going to do there? Like, how do you call that? But
I wonder if hear me out. I wonder if anyone is going, like, they do a podcast together. I guarantee they want to play at least 1 year together. I would not be surprised if the Kelce brothers end up on the same team for at least 1 year. And I don't think it's Travis Kelce coming to Philadelphia. I have a feeling like I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Kelce in some way tries to make his way over to Kansas City.
They don't need a center in Kansas City, though. Unless he wants to play guard. Humphreys? Yeah, they got Creed.
I still think that there's I wouldn't be surprised if they find a spot. It would be his final. I guarantee that would be his final year. I would guarantee he wants to play with his brother. I don't think there is anyone would say no to that. And I think he would probably, honestly, I would think they'd both be willing to take a little less money to play together. I think that's kind of like the bond that they have, but I could be wrong. I don't know either of them at all.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that last part. You know, some of our listeners were probably worried about that. So I
have press credentials. Okay. You never know.
It's true.
That's not true. I don't have press credentials. Let's move on. Let's get into these games. Jordan has not said one thing, and I don't know. I'm not sure if he's down bad still from the Jags loss or what's going on. Talk to us, my guy.
Just listen to you guys in riveting conversation here.
That's very nice of you to say that, Jordan.
You're welcome.
All right, Phil, you have the PFF schedule pulled up. Seth is going to be following along on Sleeper and Underdog, giving us some plays that will be good. So that'll be good with that. And guys, here's the deal with Sleeper, guys. It's really good. The dynamic payouts are excellent. You can win up to 100 times your cash, guys. Enter promo code DUDES100. They'll match you up to $100, guys. I had almost an amazing week on Sleeper. I was a couple picks away where it just didn't work. Kyron Williams' hand injury absolutely murdered me. I had 3 plays that would have hit. And we gave away some good plays on this week also. Like we say, Nico Collins touchdown and Kareem Hunt touchdown, Jordan. I think Phil's the only guy who did that. We didn't get to it. We missed it. But Phil, how much moolah did you make on that bad dog?
I believe I made $58. I was going to Venmo Jordan $5 cash, but he said something extremely vulgar to me, so I rejected it. And I no longer am giving his $5.
Release the text.
I can't release the text. He said something extremely rude. My feelings are hurt, and I am no longer giving him the $5.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Not vulgar. It was rude.
It was not vulgar. Yes, I should be clear. I should clarify. It was not vulgar. He said something extremely rude. I'm not going to say if it was about my height or weight, but it was rude nonetheless. So he's not getting his $5. All right.
When you said vulgar, listeners' minds just went everywhere. So I'm glad you did clarify that. Wrong word there. All right, let's hop on over to the divisional round, guys. And while we're at that, remember to give us a subscribe, guys, over on YouTube at tffdudes. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out. Help yourself out. Maybe, take your fantasy league to the next level. Get some news and notes from, your favorite dudes, guys. And if you enjoy this, your friends probably enjoy it too. And, but yeah, check us out on YouTube. Give us that sub. I'm wearing a West Valley Supply hat here. You won't want to check that out. So yeah, guys, go over to YouTube, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. Phil, what's the line for this first Saturday game?
Yeah, we have the Texans at the Ravens. Current total right now is 43.5. And Baltimore, we have some big spreads. Baltimore is currently favored by 9.5.
So here's the deal with this game. Seth, you are on mute. I don't know if you know that, but the thing about this game is, what's Lamar in playoffs? 1-3, right? Is that what he is?
Know.
This is kind of a must win for Lamar. If he can't get this done,
he's 1-3. He's 1-3 in the playoffs.
If he goes 1-4, CJ Stroud has the same amount of playoff wins as Lamar Jackson right now. Baker Mayfield has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson. The guy struggles.
Has the same amount.
Tim Tebow has the same amount. I was wondering how long it'd take Phil to drop a Tebow missile in here, but he did it. So yeah, he doesn't win this game. He's lucky he plays at a, not a super high, popular franchise where people really criticize him, because 1-3 is unacceptable for a guy who's won an MVP and the guy who's probably win the MVP this year. It's kind of a must win. Mark Andrews is trying to play. I believe he practiced on Wednesday. We are recording this pod on Wednesday, so that would be a big boost to the Ravens. But do you think the Texans, you think the Ravens are a little worried about this game, Jordan? What are you thinking?
I would assume they will be a little worried, just how good Stroud's playing. But I don't know. I've heard stuff that Andrews is going to try to play, and some codes kind of lead it to maybe he sits one more week. I kind of think the Ravens win here, but I think it's a good spot for the Ravens passing game too. I don't know. I think Texans make Lamar try to throw the ball here. Yeah, I mean, they should be worried. I mean, I don't think that the Ravens think it's going to be a walkover game.
No, absolutely not. And did you see that stat? Or what are you saying, Seth?
I was just thinking, Jordan was saying that they're going to want Lamar to throw the ball, right? So they'll probably stack the box. I was kind of looking at the passing games for both quarterbacks over on Underdog. CJ Stroud has a boost for 1.5 passing touchdowns, but the Ravens have been the best for allowing fantasy points to quarterbacks. So they're the number one team against quarterbacks. And then the Texans are about middle of the road against quarterbacks, and same with running backs and receivers. They're kind of middle of the road defense. So anyways,
yeah.
I have sleeper pulled up, Trent. I kind of like the Flowers over 4.5 receptions, assuming if Andrews plays, I think I don't know. I think I still like it though. And then on the Texans side, I think I kind of like Schultz over receiving yards, 36.5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think the Texans are a really good matchup for tight ends too. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's the case. Just off the top of my head. So
Njoku had a decent game.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good spot for tight end. So I think I would if Andrews is out, I really like the likely stuff. But I just don't know if Andrews is full go if he plays.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any lines for likely because I don't think they know if Andrews is playing yet. So
okay. And then what about Nico Collins? We got any Nico Collins plays on Underdog or Sleeper?
We got him on Underdog. I have him at 6 receptions, 80.5 receiving yards. And then it's a 1.25x for a rush and reception.
I think I like the 5.5 receptions more than the yards for Nico.
Yeah.
Really?
Man, because
yards 80.5 is high.
Yeah, I mean, he had the last 3 weeks, he had 80 yards, 195, 96. And then catching almost every target. So it's 7 for 8, 9 for 9, 6 for 7 last game. So
Okay. I kind of really like Stroud here on this game, and I know like I had a horrible week of picks last week. I only got 2 right, and they were the last 2. I don't know what our update is on that, Jordan. If you want to go to that,
Yeah.
real
So
quick.
so I went 3-3, and the rest of you guys went 2-4. So
Wow.
I won last week, so I don't know if that makes me the winner of the pick'em or
I
not.
feel like it
but
does, right? You're the clear winner.
Yeah,
Probably
I
makes
think
you
so.
winner. I think that's the most fair.
congratulations,
That's the most fair.
Jordan.
Thank
You
you.
want to just go overall for playoffs and do a second one so we can just keep doing something?
Yeah. Let's just
So-
keep picking.
Okay. 2 and 4. Yeah, I had people going off on me on YouTube and TikTok, like, hey man, you're 0-4s right now. And since the Bills game got pushed to Monday, like it was a long, weekend till I got a win. It was pretty rough. No one picked the Packers, right?
No.
Mm-mm.
What was the game you guys picked that you got right?
So I picked KC, Buffalo,
Lions.
Detroit, and then Phil picked Buffalo and Detroit. Seth picked Buffalo, Detroit. Trent, you picked Buffalo, Tampa Bay.
Why do I
Okay.
think I chose the Finns for some reason?
You did.
You did. I got KC right. I was the only one.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the only one. Yeah. So, okay, this one, I'm excited to see Stroud in this one. Stroud hasn't thrown an interception in 6 straight games. I believe he has 3 straight games of 71% completion percentage. I think Stroud can really push the limits on these guys. I don't know about, and that Ravens defense is so good though, but I'm pulling for Stroud. I want to see Stroud do it. Like, this is kind of weird because this is the NFL MVP going up against Jordan's NFL season MVP. So it's kind of like there's a lot on the line here. I like how Jordan just agreed with me and then he realized what I was saying and then he went back and backpedaled there a little bit. I got the eyes, roll.
This is not available on Sleep. It's not available in California, but I think you're slapping the under on the spread. You're taking this. You're basically. I think a 9.5.
Oh, you're saying
No,
Texans?
sorry. Texans cover is what I mean. Texas
Yeah.
covers.
Okay.
Texans cover the spread.
No, I agree. 9.5 is wide. I didn't realize that's
It's huge.
The line.
That's what I
big.
just saw most recently on PFF. Check me out there, Jordan. Check out
hit
my
the
stats.
refresh
What I
one more
mean.
time.
I definitely see 9.5.
It's
9.5.
But I see too.
9.5.
I think Texas covers. I think Texas covers.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I don't.
If you're tired of covers, go over to Manscaped, guys, the dude's favorite place for men's grooming and toiletries. Promo code DUDE20, 20% off your whole entire order, guys. Cover up with those new boxers they got right there, or they got that Lawnmower Ultra 2.0. All that good stuff at Manscaped, guys. Tell them we sent you. Promo code DUDES20, 20% off the whole thing. I'm going to say I'm feeling dangerous right here. I think I'm going to go Texans. I feel crazy right now, but Stroud has, man, it's hard to go against the Ravens. That defense is so good. The offense is good. And to top it off, they say that the Ravens eat 30 to 60 Uncrustables every single day. So they've had 7,500 Uncrustables on the season. Honestly, some of the guys on that team, I feel like those are kind of rookie numbers. We have a friend of the pod who's on that team that I feel like he could do 30 by himself. And then that fullback they have, Richard, he could probably do 30 himself too. So I feel like those are rookie numbers. They need to bump those up. But Phil, how many Uncrustables do you think you could eat in one sitting? Like if I just said hey, this is for $100.
Not a lot. Maybe 4.
No way. You can eat more than 4.
Okay, more than 4. Seth, what do you think the number is? 6? Do you think 6?
I could
7?
probably eat like 10.
You think so?
No.
Yes.
For $100, you couldn't eat a whole pack, Phil?
$100, I could eat 10 for sure.
For $100, me ingesting that many calories would probably rack up more medical.
They are a
bills
lot
than
of
$100.
calories.
Hey,
So
Trent,
I
is it the
probably should not.
Isn't there
Give me
the Uncrustables
$1,000.
that are like jelly only?
No,
I have not seen a jelly only Uncrustable.
that's called a
I've had
jelly-filled
jelly.
donut, Jordan.
I will say they're like 320 calories for the tiny
Yeah,
sandwich. It's insane.
Yeah, that's like
They're really good.
They're so good. And if you if you warm them up or even straight out of the freezer, whoo, bone apple tea, baby. Those things slap.
So I actually got one of those things where you can make your own. Like I have the press.
Oh, you're not
that
one of
can
those
make my
weird
own
guys who cuts
Uncrustables.
off the crust off normal sandwiches, right?
No, I'm not, but I have an Uncrustable
He
maker at
is.
my house.
He just
Oh.
openly admitted
No.
that though.
I do not. No, it's for my kids. Uncrustables are expensive.
That's a good point.
They're so
Okay.
good though. They're so
After
there's
I'm going to go Texans. You know, I'm going to say Texans wins this one. Everyone else going Ravens.
I'll ride with you.
I'll-
I'll ride with you.
I'll
Give
get
me some.
different.
You know
Boom.
why?
I got-
You want to know I'm
I
going
got Baltimore.
Texans? I'm because Jordan already won. It doesn't matter, and I want the Texans to win. But if the Texans lose, I want Baltimore to win. So it's kind of like a win-win for me. But I'd like to see the Texans like take down the King. So let's go.
How do we? Yeah, everyone's calling the Ravens the king and the best. They are like
The
they're like a
AFC king,
poor man's
whatever.
Dallas Cowboys. Like the Ravens choke just as much as Dak. Dak's 2-5 in playoffs. What's Lamar's 1-3? Like
I just like how we didn't finish that Uncrustables conversation. Like Trent, how much do you think you can take down? I didn't hear Jordan either.
I think I could do. I think I could do 4 or 6. I think I'm close to that.
10,
Jordan?
come on, 10 would be
Yeah,
easy.
like maybe like 5. I don't know. Like
I
don't.
could
The
do
peanut
20,
butter would get me.
Yeah,
Too much
I could
peanut
do
butter.
20
would be
throughout
hard.
a
Just
day.
water.
Like in a sitting, I could do 4. Throughout the day, I could probably do 20.
Can you imagine taking down 3,600 calories in one sitting on Uncrustables? Just didn't you say they're like 360 calories, Seth?
Yeah,
You do
320.
it all the
Yeah, it's
time.
insane.
320, 30. Trent, shut up.
How often do you have an Uncrustable?
Once a quarter.
Yeah, so like it's not that hard to believe. You know, you eat bear claws that are twice that much, every other day. So I don't know why you're like surprised.
No. What we
350
talked about is 6 donuts equals 1 soda. I don't know if you remember that TED talk that I gave about 6 months ago, Trent. Told you I live about a quarter mile away from a dentist office. All right, moving on here. We are talking about the Packers versus the Niners. Seth, you are probably going to be watching this game while you enjoy some steak. While you enjoy this game.
True.
The current total right now is 50.5, and the Niners are currently favored by 9.5. So this is the late game that's going to be happening. And excuse me, it is the late game that's going to be happening. We can jump into it a little bit. It says, Trent, just as a quick heads up for our fans, it says 8:15. That's 8:15 Eastern. It'll be played at 5:15 Pacific time. And just as a quick heads up, it'll be played at 8:15 for our East Coast listeners, 5:15 for our West Coast listeners, 7:15 CST. So we had that conversation via text.
Don't forget Mountain Time, Phil.
Mountain time. Yeah. Mountain time. It'll be at 6:15. So we had that conversation. Trent was wildly confused when he turned on the game at halftime and it was only 2:30 and the Bills were halftime. So the guy, I don't know if he's using a VPN from Buffalo or what it is exactly, but the guy was incredibly confused when he was no longer using said VPN. And
It about took
the
him an
game was
hour
on.
to come for a full circle,
It was.
The
I just
only
loved it. I lit a match on that conversation and just watched away. Like it was just straight brutality.
The only reason I got confused, you should have saved this for the Bills game, it'd be more appropriate. The only reason I got confused was because I said, why is this game at 1:30 on a Monday? I hate that. I was hoping it'd be at like 4:00. And Jordan's like, do you live in a cave? Like I was wrong on the time. That's why I
No,
got
you
confused.
said because like we knew 24 hours earlier it was at 1:30 on Monday.
I didn't look at the time till that morning, and it's
Well,
like, you live
here's-
under a rock. It's like, yeah, I just looked at the schedule today. Yeah, I guess I
Well,
live
Trent,
under a
the way
rock.
that the way that Trent calculates the time zones in America is he goes Japanese time -6. So he it's not the standard, like
It's
what
kind of
the
like
time is in
cellulose to
Japan.
Fahrenheit.
Yes. Yeah, the guy's still, he measures kilometers. I'm like, hey, you went, 5 kilometers, like 3 miles. He says, and I'm not, the joke bombed is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
most things you do bomb. So yeah, I'm glad. Hang in
but the
there,
game
buddy.
is at
You're doing really good.
5:15 PSD, Trent. Just as a quick heads up there for you.
All right, yeah, well, I'll be at Cheyenne's at a bachelor party. I don't know what you'll be doing.
Please tell
guarantee
me
you
you're
won't.
going to that bachelor. Trent,
Yeah, I
Seth,
got
please-
invited.
Not going.
Seth, if I went there, I'd be welcomed with open arms. Okay,
Trent, you
Like,
would
people
be.
actually
Please show
like
up
me
for dinner,
compared to you.
Trent. Please.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Don't twist my arm. Anyways, this game, are 49ers worried? Like, you think they're worried? Like, they said they were preparing for the Packers in the second quarter of the game on Sunday. Like,
Did that fire
Jordan
you up,
Love looked
Trent?
really good.
Did that fire you up though, just a little bit, hearing Shanny say that?
By the time I heard it, I was like, like I'd already like recovered basically. So like I wasn't like I would have been like, I was like, man, this would take a
Little
miracle.
salt,
This
right?
slightly, yeah, a little bit of salt in the wound. Like, yeah, I was fired up. Like, yeah, made me mad. Wanted to punch a hole in the wall, but I use self-control. So yeah, what do you want me to say here, Phil? Like,
I don't know. I'm just
I was
curious to hear.
angry. Yes, I was
angry.
angry. But then all of a sudden I heard that, we're extending Mike McCarthy. So like, how can I be that mad at Dan or Shanny? So sorry. Jordan Love looked good. Green Bay's a quarterback factory. Like I said on YouTube, absolute quarterback factory. Like, to go from Favre, Rodgers to looks like Jordan Love, it's pretty incredible. Like, and it seems like it's a pretty simple formula. Like, get a good quarterback, get him to take reps behind another guy for a couple of years, and then rinse, repeat. I think we all kind of bashed them when they took Jordan Love in that draft, and I think it's going to pay off for him. Now, maybe it costed them a Super Bowl, but maybe it'll win them another one down the road. I'm not sure. Like, maybe peak Rodgers would have won a Super Bowl with another weapon rather than a backup quarterback. But quarterbacks are hard to find, so I think it paid off for him as of right now. But do you think those wide receivers are going to be that wide open against the 49ers on Sunday?
It's possible. I mean, the Niners pass
it's
defense
happened
hasn't
before.
Yeah, Niners pass defense hasn't been great all year. It's definitely the weakness of their secondary, of their team, is their secondary.
Yeah. And the thing is, what impressed me most about Love last week is he took some hard hits. Like, there were blitzes coming and he was still picking them apart. He was finding the open guy. I don't know if pressure is the best thing to do. I guess probably pressure with only 4 guys is what you want to do. And with Bosa and, Chase Young, maybe they can get that done.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be the main deal, though. I would say the Packers probably this year have overperformed. Can we agree there?
Absolutely. They were 2-7 at one point.
Yeah, they have
2-7.
They have overperformed incredibly, and they've peaked at the right time to some extent. Like, they look good.
Yeah. I don't think, like, the Packers averaged 7 yards per play, I think, last week. I don't think that happens again this week versus the 49ers, but they could do some, like, I don't know. These wide receivers are young, and was it Jaden Reed who apologized to all his fans that he let down on prop? So maybe whatever Reed's prop is on Sleeper
That guy
Underdog might
cost
be
me
good to do the over.
42 and a half receiving yards.
So 42 and a
You
half.
will
by Reed.
also, like, the game script didn't help them, right? Couple short fields. They're up most of the game. Like, you would imagine this is a better game script for a Reed.
Well, and all the work went to every other receiver except for him too. So it's like, and I think it's just going to get more muddy, like with Watson, like healing again. So like Watson and Dubs are going to be fully back this week. You have Wicks, who's good. You have Reed. You have another guy who I don't even know his number, like number 80 or something, who's like also a rookie.
Bo
like,
Melton.
Yeah, like they have like all their receivers are brand new and they're all good. And like that's the interesting part is that's the 49ers weakness. So if they run out there with, 4 receivers, like, and Jordan Love has time to throw the ball, I think this game could be like really good. And I actually think Brock Purdy might be put up to the test because he might have to put up points. Because I think the Packers are going to keep rolling on offense.
Do you want to know something that's just wild? Jordan
Sure.
Love had 4 completions a quarter in the game against Dallas. He had a total of 16 completions that entire game.
It seems way lower than what I thought it was.
We're talking about him, being able to make some good throws and throwing under pressure. He had 4 completions per quarter. He ended the game with 16 total complete. I'm just using that as an on average, 16 total complete. I took him at 23. I was like, oh, easily he gets to that number. He gets 6 completions a quarter. We're at 24. I'm feeling good about that. I think that should be no problem. He finished with 16.
Game script, field position.
And they ran the ball really well.
Yeah, I know we're kind of high on Jordan Love right now because of his passing, but he completed. He completed 16 passes.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the 1.5 passing touchdowns for him?
I think I'd smash that.
I don't know if I'd want to touch the receivers, to be honest, because it could be any one of them that goes off.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to do that, I don't know. Like, if you want to do that, then I don't know, to do over 1.5, but you don't want any of the receivers is kind of confusing almost to me. But like, he throws to like tight ends and stuff too, I guess.
Well, and he has like 6 different receivers he throws to. Like, one of the receivers is going to have a good game. You just really don't know which one. Like,
What about other side of the ball? Christian McCaffrey should be healthy. I think it's gonna be a fun one. Like, I think that what was the total on this again? The total is 50.5. I think the weather's okay, right, Jordan? Like, I think Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, like, I think this would be I think the Packers can push the 49ers to the limit. I don't know if they can get it done. Like, this is still a really young football team. And I think I give the coaching edge. Maybe I slightly give the coaching edge to Shanahan, but Packers coach is real sharp too. Like, I think what's it come down to is defense, and that 49ers. Yeah. 49ers have so many weapons on offense. I feel like the Packers do. I just don't know them because they're young.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
One prop I do like is McCaffrey at 92.5 rushing yards. Just a quick look at the running back stats versus the Packers. They allow above like 95. It's like average 95 yards a game to running backs. And McCaffrey's obviously a premium running back on probably the best running football team. So I think that's easy lock there, at least if you want to do a 49ers play.
On Sleeper, they have discounted the CMC rush prop to 73.5.
Yep, definitely take that.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Is anyone gonna go Packers in this game? Let me just ask that.
I am really tempted to, but I think I'm not going to.
I have nothing left to play for. I'm going YOLO all day. I'm going Pack.
Yeah, I know. I'm going with the cheese, baby.
Cheese whiz. Since I am the only guy that has and here's the deal, Phil. What would you rather have here? Okay, let's just think about this. But let me just put this in perspective. You accused me of not having a backbone last week, okay? And that hurt.
I said spine.
Okay.
Spineless. Yep.
Okay. What happens if the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl?
I will root for them. I will root for the 49ers because what I think could happen is that the Packers could win here. I'm also going to be rooting for the Lions. I hope that the Lions beat, we're going to talk about that game, but I also am rooting for the Lions. If it gets down to it and the Niners beat the Lions, I am rooting for the Niners as much as it pains me to do so, because Jordan has to eat that muy picante chip that we have been talking about this entire
season. And he has to Amazon it. He has to bootleg it.
Yeah. He has to go on eBay or Craigslist or one of those shady, I don't know.
Yeah, one of those guys out behind AMPM probably sells something like that. Seth, how much are those things on eBay or whatever? You want to look that up for us real quick? Get back to us on that. That's the only reason, Phil, I'm saying, don't you want the Niners to win? Because don't you want Jordan to do the hot chip challenge?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm like, I'm saying what I think could happen here, not what I want to happen.
Okay. I think you should go with your pick just so you can root for both things. You understand what I'm saying there? Does that make sense?
I'm going for the Packers. It doesn't. I'm going with the Packers.
No.
I love it and
have people-
appreciate your perspective, but Packers all day.
Well, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. I have listeners come up to me and they're like, I hate the 49ers more than anything, but I want Jordan to eat a hot chip more than anything. Like, people are torn. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
You can get
it's
one at
really a
Walmart
big
for $20.
predicament. Oh, they still have them at Walmart?
Yeah, for $20.
Oh, perfect.
Are you sure, Seth?
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan's over here trying to sidestep it. That's
Yeah, he's
classic.
On
like,
Yeah,
eBay,
since
they're $13 from India. They're all being shipped from India.
Those
yeah,
are
I
made
can
with
get one at,
curry,
I can
not
get one
with
at the Hanford Walmart right
tomatillos.
now.
Although curry would be hotter. Curry is spicy.
Carolina Reaper, Naga
All right.
Viper Pepper.
Actually, what would be worse, a chili pepper from south of the border or like a curry from India? Jordan, what do you think? I would say
Say it
probably
ag-
curry,
say that
right? Like curry seasoning from like a Southeast Asian country or a hot pepper from like south of the border. What's worse?
I don't know. It's probably similar.
I would
They're all
say curry for some reason or another hits worse, you know?
Seth, for what it's worth, it's a different one. It's a different one on the
Mm.
one on Walmart. I don't think it's
Yeah.
as hot.
Hey, we're not dumbing this thing down. That's for sure. I'm gonna go Niners. I've been on the Niners since the offseason last year. I think Purdy gets it done. Purdy's pretty good in playoffs. It's at home. Niners.
I
will be
got
hard to
Niners.
beat,
I
guys.
got Niners
think-
too, though I will be rooting for Green Bay very, very hard.
Seth.
No, I'm riding with the cheese, baby.
All
I
right.
already said cheese. We are moving on here.
All right. What do we got next, Phil? And while you, what do you got? Game,
thought you were gonna-
we're all
I thought-
ready for.
Agree.
Guys, head over
This
to
is-
Underdog. Head over to Underdog. Enter promo code dudes. They'll match you up to $100. And I think they give you a free mystery play for your first play, which is usually in your favor. It's like a 90% hit rate. Head over to Underdog. They got best ball. They got rivals. They got all kinds of good stuff. Underdog is a great place for fantasy sports, guys. Hockey, basketball, baseball. Maybe maybe you live in a trailer and you're a NASCAR guy. I don't know, but head over to Underdog, guys. Promo code dudes. Phil, what do we got next?
We have the Lions. We have the Bucks at the Lions. The current total right now is 48.5, and Detroit is currently favored by 6.5. Speaking of press credentials, Trent, was that you who asked Todd Bowles if they were ready to play in Detroit in their frigid temperatures?
I have this in my notes that I was going to ask you are you in the notes?
No, I'm not.
I made a different doc that I have a bunch of notes in here. Yeah, I cannot believe that guy in the press asked if he was concerned about the weather in Detroit. And, Detroit's played in a dome for the last 50 years. Like, come on. Like,
What did Bulls say?
He just laughed and he was like, we're
laughed.
playing in a bowl, right? I mean, we're playing indoors, right? Like, he was just kind of like, where is this question coming from? And I think I don't know what the reporter was thinking. Like, maybe it was just someone like local who's not really in sports coverage who just was like, hey, I know it's freezing everywhere in the country. How cold is it right now in Detroit? But like, I don't know. It can happen to anyone, the other day, I don't know. I'm trying to justify it. And
don't make something up here. Don't make something up. Yeah. Hey, crazy things happen. I went to the zoo last Saturday. It wasn't supposed to rain. It rained on us. That's just kind of what happens. But the zoo is not indoors. So, and I was surprised that Jordan was not there. So that was another thing. And then
I just got it. Yes, Jordan is a zoo connoisseur.
He loves the drafts.
This is like our last, good slate of games. You know what I mean? Like, football season's almost over. It's sad. I'll probably shed a tear by kickoff at this game. Nothing gets my chili hotter than the red in the pewter. I'm excited to see what Baker can get going in this game against the Lions. Bucks left a lot of points off the board last game. I'm expecting a big Rashad White game. Mike Evans dropped a touchdown last week. Mike Evans absolutely hosed me. I needed 2 more receptions from him, and I would have had a nice sleeper play on that as well. Lions side of the ball. What, Phil?
No, go ahead.
No, what like Bucks got to play good defense. They actually have a pretty decent playoff roster that has playoff experience. You know, guys that were, part of a Super Bowl championship team a couple of years ago. So like this run, maybe the defense pulls it together here. Bowles said he just keeps the guys, that do what they do good. He puts them in, lets them do that. He doesn't try to ask them to do other things. These Bucks aren't great against the pass. They're pretty good against the run, which makes me curious. Like, what are these Lions running back props? Like, what's Montgomery's, percentages on sleeper and stuff like that? Because the Bucks are pretty good against the run. Like Vita Vea, he's out there stopping the tush push. Like, do we think the Lions can run on these guys? Lions fans are going to be absolutely crazy in this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the 49er fans, I don't think have the advantage at home that like Detroit and Buffalo has with their fans. Like those fan bases are on a different level. Lions fans were booing Stafford's wife, booing Stafford's kids, his wife claims. I don't know if that's true. I don't really trust everything she says. She did
Probably
fall
true.
She fell for someone saying that they were banning the jerseys at the game of her husband, though, too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she seems a little extra. They probably did get booed a little bit, though.
Yeah.
What do we got here, Jordan, on some lines in this game?
Can I give one? Can I give one that's like probably? Can I give one real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really like I like two. And one is because he scores so often. I really like a touchdown reception by Sam Laporta. He has in his last, so he had a touchdown last week, and then he has had outside of that. Obviously, he was banged up, but he has almost every other game the guy is scoring a touchdown. Like I think it's Laporta season. He's getting in the end zone. He's catching a touchdown pass. The guy is a touchdown machine. And I'm also going to pair that with Aiden Hutchinson's a sack, and then I'm taking that McCaffrey over 73.5. The Bucks gave up a total of 4 sacks, and if they give up the same amount, Hutchinson is definitely going to be getting one of them.
I actually really like that mix up there, right there, Phil. But are they all Lions players?
No, the McCaffrey 73.5 rushing yard, and then the Laporta touchdown and the Hutchinson sack.
Max that out to $10, and you probably got a pretty decent payday right there. You're probably making over just around $100, probably.
It's 67, but not bad.
Okay, so those aren't huge multipliers on those, which is fine. It's always good making money. But yeah, Lions, like I like the Laporta play, Phil. Jordan, what were you saying?
Jordan,
Sorry.
didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, this is my favorite game of the 4. As far as like fantasy, DFS, it's a 4-game slate on DraftKings. This will probably be my most played game. I think the total is a little bit low too. I'm surprised it's not in the 50s, especially indoors.
Weather.
Both teams aren't good against the pass, so I think we get teams kind of airing it out on both sides. Love all the receivers here. I like the St. Brown. He just continues to go over that yards line like him. I think Evans, we get a bounce back game from Evans. What else we got here? I like the Cade Otton prop. They used him quite a bit last week. And then Trey Palmer, I like his over 18.5 receiving yards. I like all the Jameson props. I like all the passing here. I'm on all the passing. So this will be my most exposed game on DraftKings probably. Like this game a lot. Like both quarterbacks, like Baker. I like the Baker over 1.5 touchdowns. And honestly, I think Baker has more upside than Goff too. So like this game quite a bit. Think it goes over the total. Think we get a shootout here.
I hope you're right, Jordan. And there's even some trash talk in this game too. Like CJ Gardner said, if you give that Tampa group a good quarterback, that's a great group. I didn't listen to the whole interview, but apparently what Baker Mayfield says is, I don't think he really watched film because he mentioned Russell Gage. He hasn't played a snap all year for us. Got to do a little bit more film study. So I don't know if he's like, he mentioned Russell Gage, as one of the guys. I haven't listened to the interview. I don't know if any of you guys did, but that's kind of the trash talk that's going on right now between those guys.
How about even just like the DB who did he hit low?
Higbee.
I believe he hit Higbee low. And they're calling him a dirty player because he hit, was it Goddard that he hit low too?
Hawkinson. He ended Hawkinson's season 2, I think.
Yeah. I don't think that's a dirty play. The guy was just coming in low to take down a guy who was much bigger than him. Like, do we think this dude's coming out here trying to take out ACLs? I don't think so. I honestly think he's just trying to get lower than the ball carrier, who is a lot bigger than him in most cases. Like, that's not a dirty. He's I don't. That's such a bad take to say that he's a dirty player. To me, that's ridiculous.
Well, and the other thing is these new rules the NFL has implemented. You can't hit guys high. So what do you want these guys to do when a tight end comes over the middle? Like, this is leading to injuries. You ask Hawkinson, you ask Higbee, they'd probably rather get hit in the head because, hey, they get concussed, but they aren't having knee surgery. Like, I know no one wants to talk about it like that, but I'm not afraid to say it. Like, these tight ends would rather get hit up high and, have to miss a game because of concussion or something like that, go to the concussion protocol, than have to have ACL surgery in the offseason. It's a combination between turf and guys aren't allowed to hit high. So that's what's leading to these low hits that people are calling dirty, because that's what the NFL has forced them to do. So you're either going to have, concussions or knee injuries. You have to decide what you want to do. And I know it's not a popular opinion to say that, these guys would rather have, concussion than, ACL injury.
Yeah, and they asked Campbell about him being a dirty player, and Campbell's like, I don't think he basically said, like, we're just tackling low. Like, that's the best way for that DB to tackle a larger bodied guy. I don't know. It's so dumb to think that he's out there trying to hurt ACLs.
Unfortunately, anytime there's like a hard hit or anything in the NFL, that guy's considered dirty. Like, who's the guy on the Broncos? Like, yeah, the guy was hitting really hard. He's got suspended a lot of games, but just, football that, was normal football 15 years ago is now considered dirty football. Guys like Ronnie Lott, Steve Atwater, those guys would be considered dirty, probably wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's just the type of NFL we play today. We're finding Jalen Warren, money for, making blocks on blitzing
textbook pass block. Yeah, no, you're right.
Pretty pathetic. But back to this game. This should be a fun one. Like Jordan said, I'm excited for this one. Seth, anything you got to say about this? I know you're a huge kind of like a closet Lions fan. I don't know what the right term is.
Sure, yeah, you can say that. Yeah, I want the Lions to win really bad. They're like my number one. They're like my number one team. I want to win the Super Bowl. So I want the Lions to win. They're like it's like my Seahawks are in the Super Bowl right now. I'm a baby Lions fan. Let's go.
Cub.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be a Cub. I don't know if it is a Cub. Yeah. Seth kind of reminds me more, Seth and Phil, they're kind of more like the hyenas, rooting for the Lions in Lion King. I'm going with
Trent is Scar.
Yeah, Pumbaa. Anyways, Lions are easier feet. No, I lost my train of thought there. I'm going Bucks here, guys. Fire the cannons.
No.
What's interesting about the I know we got a lot of Lions listeners.
I'm gonna here's why. It's because Jordan, tell me why Trent's going for the Bucks. Tell me why. You need to know the answer for this, right? Like, it's so obvious and apparent.
I don't know. I'm going Bucks too, for what it's worth.
Oh,
it's because Trent is an Oklahoma fan. Trent is an Oklahoma fan. Yeah. Baker went to Oklahoma, and that is the reason why he is going for the Bucks.
I'm taking Tampa. Now the sucky thing is that if Tampa wins, the Niners win. I think Tampa has no chance. So I think the Lions have a better chance of beating San Francisco, but I don't know. I don't think this defense is really good for the Lions. So I think Baker's going to have his way. He's in a groove. Looks good. I don't know. I can see the Lions winning. I think it's going to be a really good game, but I'll take Tampa here. And I think the 6 is way too high. They're favored by 6. I don't really understand that. So I don't know.
So here's what I'll say, Jordan. I know you're saying that if the Lions win, the Bucks don't stand a chance against the 49ers. What do we think is going to, let's say the Lions win. Let's say the Packers win. What do we think happens if the Lions Packers play again? But I think the Detroit home field advantage is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I also will say that I think the Packers, one of the biggest problems they had, late in Rodgers' career was having home field advantage. When you got a gunslinger that can throw like that, you're almost better off being on the road. Rather than playing in Lambeau on the frozen tundra in January.
Yeah,
Like, no,
good point.
Give Favre, like, I don't know, was it Favre when Eli won that game after when they won that game in Lambeau? Was that Favre? I think that was Favre.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't. Eli, I don't know. I don't think it was Favre.
It might have been Rodgers. Like, I'm thinking you give like Lambeau, like, yeah, it's cool to have that home field advantage, but I think when Rodgers was there, I think they were built to throw the ball. Like, when you got a guy that's going to throw like that, I think you're better off on the road than, these cold games like that. And like, Brady's probably the best quarterback ever in the snow, maybe best quarterback and best in the snow. So like, you go put him up there in Lambeau from Tampa Bay when the Packers were the 1 seed and he beat him on that last Super Bowl run. Like, there's just certain things, but that's just all I'm saying with that. Like, I don't know, like Packers Lions. I know that's probably very unlikely at the moment, but those teams have played each other a couple times. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, I'm going Bucks. I gotta go with Baker. I'm hoping, I think he's gonna wake up feeling dangerous. And the other thing you need to watch is like, what's Trey Palmer's line? Does he have a line on there?
18 and a half.
Yeah.
I said I like the over.
Okay. Sorry. If he tweets on Sunday morning, woke up feeling pissed off, I think you got to play him because the last 2 times he's done that, he's scored touchdowns. So that's the, sorry to drop a P missile on the pod, but that's he's 2 for 2 on that, guys. And that run he had versus the Eagles was a big deal. So sorry about that. All of our kids, listeners, for.
Oh, I think you're right, Trent. 2001, Favre was mitochondria game against the New York Giants but it was at Giants Stadium.
No, this one was in Lambeau, I thought. So anyways, but all right, I'm going Bucks. Fire the cannons. Steph's going Lions. Phil's going Lions. Jordan's going. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Whether you're listening on the podcast or whatever, go on our YouTube comments. Let us know. You're like, hey, Trent, that's a dumb shirt. Hey, Phil,
lose some weight.
Live. I don't know, Seth, like, why are you in a dark, creepy room like that? Jordan, I don't know. Go on YouTube. Tell us your favorite picks, guys. Tell us, where we're wrong, where we're right. The comments really do help us. But with that said, let's go to the last game on the slate here, Phil, the one everyone has been waiting for.
The one everyone has been waiting for. We have the Chiefs at the Bills. The current total right now is 45.5, and the Bills are favored by 2.5. Getting more into a standard favoring there. I have 2 points here that I want to bring up. First point, Trent was very clearly saying, can Josh Allen beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? And he had some people chirping at him on Twitter, like, didn't he beat them just a couple of weeks ago? It's like, we're talking about the playoffs here. And Trent, can you get my back on that a little bit?
No, thank you for having my back. Like, yeah, everyone's like, dude, he beat him 2 weeks ago. Remember, Kadarius Toney was offside. It's like, yeah, man, I do a fantasy football podcast. Like, I clearly remember what happened. Like, and there's all these. It's okay. Hey, if you tweet at my tweets, it helps us out. So I don't get that mad at the interaction. But it's like
we're talking like, come on, like,
clearly,
what we're talking about here. It's not like, yes, we remember the Cole Kadarius Toney thing. We remember 2 weeks ago, or excuse me, a couple weeks ago when the Bills beat the Chiefs. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Bills beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. Full stop, as people say. The second thing that I will say is they're making fun of the Bills fans saying that they look like lobsters on ice. What I will say is there are a lot of camo in that snow, and a country boy will survive is what I'm talking about. Those guys camoed out, they got hunting gear on, they're up way at the top, they're staying warm. No hunting gear sponsors of the show. Maybe they're wearing, like, is Kiyu, is that how it's pronounced? I don't know what it is, but they're wearing that warm stuff. They're out there. And, I have a lot of respect. I would say 3 out of 5 fans that are in that top row sitting in the snow, all those guys are wearing some sort of camo type hunting gear that's extremely warm. And so I just want to say respect for being out there in that cold weather, braving the cold weather, being out there. I'm not going to say you look like crabs or lobsters on ice. You have my respect, Bills fans.
I will say though, it is funny when you see the pictures of people's beer just completely just freezing and popping off. I don't even know why you'd even buy beer if it's just gonna it's just gonna
That
freeze like that.
That was Kansas City, though, right? Was it happening at Buffalo too? It wouldn't shock me.
Well, if it's below freezing, it'll do that.
Yeah. The other thing is though, like these
Seth
Bills
is not
fans,
speaking from experience, just for what it's worth.
I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know why you'd spend $20 on something like that just to completely just be worth a picture.
Yeah.
You should have been selling hot toddies.
So I'm these Bills fans, like they want this, right? Like this the Bills and Lions fans are both crazy. I'll say that. These guys were out there shoveling snow for $20 an hour and a free meal. I don't know if they got anything else for that, but $20 an hour.
Probably a ticket, I imagine. I guarantee they got a ticket to the game.
I think they got a discount or something. I don't think they got a ticket. You could probably
there was no one sitting in those upper seats. Like they probably could have just walked in.
No, I don't think they could just walk in. But this thing's going to be crazy though. This is going to be, the Bills fans want this. This is going to be a fun one. You kind of have, the Bills defense is kind of beat up though, right? Like they're kind of a skeleton crew. Like it's going to be hard to, I think it's going to be hard for them to pull it off. But the Bills, the Bills have been in playoffs since week 10, like since they had to win out. Like this has been a crazy season for them. I think it's just another game. I'm excited to watch Allen in this one. I'm hoping this game doesn't get postponed. It looks like the weather could be some snow, but I don't think they're going to have to shut the game down.
Want to know what's something crazy? It's like that's the it's starting to warm up. Then it's going to be 24 degrees and slightly sunny. So I think that plays in everyone's favor.
And everyone's complaining about Buffalo's new stadium not being a dome. Hey, if you want the elements on your side for home field advantage, I know Josh Allen, maybe he would rather have a dome. They're building a canopy, I guess, that keeps the fans covered, but there will be snow on the field and there'll still be some snow in there. I like the old school football of these weather games when you go back and look at it. I think it's very boring to have every single game in a dome. Like I think you need to have.
I think it's part of football.
Well, it wouldn't be boring though, Trent, because you have more offense, higher scoring games, so it's not necessarily boring.
You got to have something, man. You can't just have everything in a dome. Like,
look at Seattle. It doesn't snow there often, but it's always so wet there, and that's wide open.
The issue isn't the snow, Trent. It's the cold. Because snow is actually good for offense. Snow's good for offense, but it's the cold and the rain.
Yeah, and you can't get to your seats.
Yeah, that too.
They had to shovel that out. What are you feeling here on the Chiefs side, Jordan? I know you're a big Chiefs guy, so this is kind of. I'm surprised you're going for.
I think Chiefs win this game. So
no.
Yeah, Buffalo defense isn't good. I think the Chiefs defense is a lot better than Buffalo's defense. Yeah, I think Mahomes is gonna. I don't know. I don't bet against Mahomes in the playoffs. So tell me. I mean, especially not in the divisional round. So I think Chiefs win this game. It's a good game. I could be wrong. I think the Chiefs win.
Mahomes' first road playoff game, so that is a little different. All of his playoff games have been home, except the Super Bowl was a neutral field, even though the Bucs were technically, it was in their stadium that one time. I think the Bills are going to have to score a lot of points. The Bills defense being hurt is what worries me. I'm going to go for the Bills. I want the Bills. I'd like Josh Allen to get it done here finally, but I don't, with how their defense is, I don't even know what's going to happen next week even, right? But I'm going to go Bills here. I'm guessing Jordan's the only guy going Chiefs. Is anyone on this Chiefs bandwagon besides Jordan?
No, sir.
Phil, you part of the mafia? Phil, you going to break a table if the Bills win this game?
I am not breaking a table if the Bills win this game. Was it? I may have seen a late story. Was there a guy that was just fresh off the couch, on and off the practice squad, who had a bunch of tackles against the Steelers? Who I want to say there was who is that? Who was that? Jordan? Was that Eric Rowe?
No, it's the linebacker. Klein, AJ Klein, right?
Okay, he's not. Yeah. It would help if I looked at the Bills and not the Steelers. Yes, he had 7 tackles, 4 assists. He was like, I was getting ready to go on a vacation with my family to Key West, and he ends up having like basically 11 tackles and assists to combine, which is just is fantastic. That's such a great storyline, man.
That is a good storyline.
Hey,
Seth,
I like
you got
the real quick. I like the Kelsey over 5.5 receptions. He had 7 targets, 10 targets last game, 7 catches. I think they go right back to him this week.
how happy are you going to be, Phil, when Jason Kelsey's there in the flesh watching his brother? Because I know you're like a huge New Heights listener. So
I've never listened to that podcast, although I had to clear it up that I'm not friends with those guys personally. And it will be interesting to see. Will he be in the like? I saw that they were like doing like a hype dance. I don't know what it's called, but everyone in the stadium was doing it. Like, is Jason Kelsey going to be doing the dances with like Taylor Swift and company, or is like what is that going to look like with him up in the box? Like, he will be there. He just does.
You think
He
he
looks a little
swag
bit.
surfs with him?
That's the thing. I think he's a little bit more of a curmudgeon than that whole group. Like, I don't see him swag surfing with the crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jordan's more of our pop culture, current events guys on stuff like that. So I don't see that. Seth, we got any sleeper plays other than the Kelsey one? Like, is there anything on the Buffalo side? Like, I think I'm more on the passing game than like the James Cook rushing props, probably.
Yeah, I think I want to stay away from Cook just because we saw Josh Allen take over with his legs last week. I mean, Stephon Diggs, like I did bet on him last week and he didn't get there again. So I don't know how I feel with Diggs, but I think it's fine. I think the Bills are going to have to throw because I think the game's going to be closer than they want. So I think they are going to have to force in the ball. So I think that's an okay play. Probably Kincaid's fine too. I don't really love it too much. 40.5 receiving yards. I mean, I'm just not sure. I think it's okay, but yeah, I'm not too confident in too many people in this game.
What is Josh Allen's rushing prop? Because I might hit that again. Because I think he's going to
44.5.
That's pretty high for a quarterback. I think he was
44
like
and a
35
half.
last week.
He was at 40.
What, Jordan?
He's going to run a ton. Chris Jones is going to get pressure. He's going to run a ton.
Yeah, he's 44 3 weeks ago, 67, 74 last week.
And I also think that Diggs needs to get involved for Buffalo to win this game. Like, I know I've been saying that for a while, and maybe it's weird though. Buffalo's been on a streak ever since Diggs hasn't been involved. So maybe they don't. Maybe decoy deal. Like, I don't know what Buffalo has to do. They're gonna have to score a lot of points, and that defense on Buffalo is gonna have their work cut out for them. Like, Mahomes has a better defense, and you need that for the playoffs. And I don't know, what are we thinking about Chiefs running game? I guess Pacheco's the guy there, and just go with it. It's weird, knowing that they have a running back like that, but
I could see Cook having a good game.
I think they're going to need all hands on deck. So maybe he has a decent game. Like, whatever Kincaid's play is, I might be interested in that one too, but I'm going to go Bills just because I want them to win. I think it's going to be hard for them to do though.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bills here.
I'm repping, former alum of the same junior college that I went to. I'm going with the Bills and Valley Boy Josh Allen.
Jordan's going Chiefs.
I got Chiefs.
Let me say this one thing I saw. I don't know if this is true or not, but I got this sent to me from my buddies that he sent this saying he saw this on Instagram. And so we talked about the Bills building a new stadium. And I guess a fan 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago fell into the pit and they won that week. And apparently a fan has sacrificed themselves to the pit at the stadium and they've won every week. Someone has done that. So if someone sacrifices themselves to the pit this week, maybe the Bills will win.
How deep is this pit?
I'll send you. It's not that deep. It's not like they're dying. It's just like they jump into the pit.
Yeah.
Read more about this Buffalo pit, Seth. Like, I'm intrigued now. Like, where was this a couple weeks ago?
I'll read the exact tweet. This person said, I saw TikTok and apparently the Bills are building a new stadium, and so far it's just a giant pit in the ground. 5 games ago, a fan fell into the pit and then they won. Since then, a fan sacrifices themselves to the pit before every game and they win. So
this is
I hope it's
awesome.
Bottom line, these Bills fans are crazy and they are all about rituals. Like, did you see the table that was on fire and they were up on the snow and they
Yes.
did that? They broke the table. Like, there's gonna be tables on fire. There's gonna be snowballs getting thrown. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff. So, like,
Will Fitzpatrick be there?
Fitzpatrick will most definitely probably be there. He might even be shirtless. So, like, yeah, Bills fans are gonna go crazy. I bet countless people fall in this pit. If this is a real story, like, people are definitely jumping in the pit probably while you're listening to this pod. So, like, yeah, this is a very superstitious fan base. They'll do whatever it takes, So Phil, I want you to find a pit around here and jump in it. Not for the Bills, just do it and just
stay
be
there.
great for the pod. Videotape it, you jumping in a pit, and say you're doing it for
Well,
Buffalo.
here's an idea. You dig the pit. I've seen you do very little athletic activity. I've also seen you do very little work in your life. You dig the pit as deep as you can dig it, and I will jump in. How about that? And you
Okay,
can't use a backhoe. You have to use sweat, blood, and tears. Dig it in your backyard, and I will jump
Not
into
his
it for
though.
you.
No, I'm not doing it in my backyard. I don't want to dig a hole in my backyard.
All right, well, that's the deal.
Okay, well, that's a lame deal. I was going to find a nice little pit for you to jump in, but you want to be lame and don't care about content, so that's fine with me. So, anyways, guys, I think that does it. Is there anything else you guys want to say here before we close this thing, before we break this huddle?
We're not going to call it huddle anymore. That is. I'm putting my foot
The huddle's
down.
been broken.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm putting my croc wearing foot down.
Fourth
on that.
quarter
We're
time
not
is
wearing.
expiring.
Yeah. Delay a
Yeah.
game. Yeah. At least Phil hasn't said, like, hey, let's break this pod into 2 pods, at the end of the
What's
pod.
funny is usually we go over like 16 games and it takes us an hour and 20 minutes. We went over 4 games and it
I'm
took
glad you can
us
count that high.
an hour and 20 minutes. A lot of air going out there. So let's like, subscribe, follow. Let's see you next week.
All righty, guys. And as always, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.